Welcome back to Simple Truth. We're trying to take some simple truths out of 1 Samuel chapter 22 today. We're on the story of David, and we're just trying to learn some things from his life. Last time we talked about self-preservation, right? We talked about this whole idea of what happens when we get scared and we run away, right? Are we running towards something? Are we just trying to preserve ourselves? God's not interested in you just preserving yourself. God's interested in him preserving you for whatever he calls you to, for his purpose, his plan, his process, all of those things. And so at the end of chapter 21, we got David running away from King Saul, and he runs to the enemy. He actually runs to the enemy for self-preservation. So in chapter 22, I want to start with verse 1. It says this: David departed from there and escaped to the cave of Adullam. And when his brothers and all his fathers heard it, they went down to him. So I want you to get this. David is in this palace, right? Saul says, I'm going to kill you, right? David runs away. He runs like uncontrollably. He runs crazily, and he runs to the enemy, tries to stay there. But the enemy says, no, I don't want you here. So then David runs to a cave, similar in nature to Elijah. It's funny how many times we run to a cave. I've talked about this process a ton, right? A cave is an ideal place for you and I to run to, because we go to the back of the cave and we hide in the cave, unaware of all the dangers that can be around us, right? We go into the cave, we hide, and it gives us this sense of control, right? That sense of control is this idea, right? I can see the entranceway. I can see who comes for the entrance, but they can't see me. I'm protected in some way. Now, we know this story because later on we see Elijah do this story, and God has to entice Elijah out of the cave. He's not coming in. God has no interest in you being in the cave. And you say, Andy, God's with us everywhere. Absolutely, he's with you. But God has no desire for you to stay in a cave, right? You don't even know what's in the cave. But God wants you in the cave to take a second, settle down, get your bearings, and then guess what happens in the rest of this chapter? And David's family finds out where he is, and then they can take care of them, right? Be somewhere where God can send help. The problem with us running around crazily is that God can't send. He can do anything, but we're not in one place for him to send help. You ever had one of those days where you're just frustrated all over the place? God's trying to pin you down to get you some help and have somebody call you, but you're just all over going crazy. Right? At the end of your craziness, we do a lot of damage. We cause a lot of problems. God wants us to settle down, and he'll send us the help that we need when we can focus in on him. The question that God asked Elijah was, what are you doing here, Elijah? What are you doing here? What are you accomplishing? How does this fit into anything that I have for you? Same thing with David. What are you doing in the cave? But the cave is the place where we feel safe, where we can feel in control, where we can take care of ourselves for a second. It also is a place where we can recoup and we can regroup and all of those things. So are you finding yourself running away from God so much so that he can't send people to you? You're like, I just got to calm down. Are you finding yourself in a cave? Man, life's been so hard. You're just hiding. Got this false sense of security. Got this false sense of I'm in control. I can get my life back together. All these things. Are you putting yourself in a place where God can send you resources, send you people to take care of you? Here's the problem. Let me put it in a modern day and let me finish this up. A lot of times, we start feeling antsy and stuff, and now we have these phones, and we just send texts out to everybody, and we see messages on Facebook, and we do all this stuff, and we get all this response, and everybody wants to take care of us. But the truth is, nobody has a clue what to do, because we're just in our cave, and we're just saying all this stuff, and by the time we get in, we got all these people thinking all this stuff, doing all these things. Be still. Know that God is God. Wait upon him in these moments. I know it's hard. Listen, I'm preaching not to the choir. I'm preaching to myself. Gotta relax. Stay off your phones. right? Stay off the things that are going to create more havoc, create more of a mess. Let God take care of you. We're going to leave it right there. We'll see you next time. Simple truth.